Hello, everybody. Anyone. My name is Christopher Wood. I'm 52 years old, and I am a almost 6 year revenge retaliation, full physical identity theft victim. Compliments of Lennox and Addington, Ontario Provincial Police with 100% proof. Skull splitting, serious skull deforming, brain splitting, brain injuring, body mutilations, kidnapping, sex assaults, false arrest, lies, time buying, cover ups, medical file falsifications, compliments of criminal doctors who are negligently involved in co committing and covering up crimes and having victims medically blacklisted to prevent any help. Police who are involved in human sex trade, slavery, trafficking, torture crimes, identity thefts, false arrests, putting illegal prisoner tracking onto victims, identity thefts, frauds, and homicides. XOPP chief or commander before he left Napanee had me shot on the corner of Bridge and Center Street, not with a bullet, but by something that went into my right ear. Staff Sergeants years 2019-2021. Kidnapping, sodomy, sex assault. Shannon Cork, Robert Lucas, Dave Weiss, Constable Ward. Stacy, a mental health worker, was Napanee Daily Tea Company, now Kingston AMHS, and Shelley Hafner are all guilty of murder and attempted murder. Each and every one of them need to be arrested. Each and every one of them need to be criminally charged. I've been trying for 5 years, almost 6, with proof. File falsifier, one who was criminally negligent, involved in co-committing and guilty of first-degree murder with intent to commit cover-up. Dr. Tatiana Vakadinovic, Lennox and Addington County General Hospital, girlfriend to Stacy, Kingston AMHS. Dr. Joy Hadley, Dr. Barton, Dr. Pritchard, Dr. Waldron, Dr. McGregor, ex-CEO Cubby Duck, and patient relations are all guilty of crimes against me, medical blacklisting, treatment refusals, file falsifications, discriminations, including having me falsely arrested and charged. One, the first time, was in an attempt to try to give me a criminal record, in an attempt to try to get out of crimes they are guilty of. The second time, it was conspired with OPP, I believe. The second time was Justice of the Peace, also involved. Lies or intimidations, threats, accusations as well. Co-offenders who are ex-inmates, junkies, registered sex offenders, child molesters who are guilty of criminal stalking, torture crimes on me, full physical identity theft with the intent to frame, traffic, and commit homicide against, identity fraud, disability, and insurance fraud, and I will not be proven wrong. Those who are guilty of first-degree attempted murder on me with and for OPP. This guy here, his name is Raymond LeBlanc. He is a child groomer. He is guilty of torturing and killing my dog March 23rd or 24th, 2023. He's guilty of criminal stalking against me and torture crimes and attempted murder with intent to commit. He lives behind Mamma Mia's Pizzeria, and he is a meth trafficker for Robert Kane, Ontario Provincial Police 7224. Harry Harwick, he is my cousin. He is a child groomer. He is guilty of torture crimes on me. He is guilty of being involved with brain injuring me, skull splitting me, and being involved with my identity theft. Once again, he is my cousin, so I know that he is fucking involved. He is guilty of crimes on me, also of abuses as a child in Winnipeg, Manitoba, to the point where he stripped me down naked because I would not eat a pickled onion and put duct tape on my testicles and made me stand in a corner for 4 hours while he beat the shit out of my mother and my brother at the time. He is approximately 85 years old and he needs to be found and arrested, along with Raymond LeBlanc. Each and every one of these need to be arrested, but they won't be touched without $22,000 in Napanee. This is Bert the Hitman Hustler. He is guilty of criminal stalking, torture crimes. He is guilty of brain splitting me. He is highly obsessed homosexual. He thinks that he actually used to play hockey for the NHL, Philadelphia Flyers, and Hartford Whalers. He is a meth head. He is a crack head. He is a morphine head. He is a sex slave trafficker and a sex slave as well. He is jealous of the long hair that I actually used to have, that I had to shave my head because of being deformed and going through so much shit and having to prove it while still being called a delusional, hallucinating, lying retard from doctors. Once again, Bert the Hitman Hustler. He is guilty of first-degree attempted murder with intent to commit. This guy here, he is guilty of murdering, stalking, and murdering my mother in December 20th, 2020. He has many alias names: Bill Woldridge, Bill Coolidge, Bill Delarosable, James Bubbles, Stephen Mavis, and Robert Cross. He thinks that he and I were switched at birth. He thinks that he is my dad and he was stalking my mother, calling my mother mom. He is guilty of first-degree murder, stalking, and murder against her. And he's guilty of criminal stalking me. He is guilty of torture crimes. He is highly obsessed homosexual. He is a serial killer. He used to stalk children for the ex-OPP chief or commander for sex slavery trafficking as well. He's guilty of multiple murders. He is now bald, glasses, and he is approximately between 65 and 70 years old. He lives behind a law office on the corner of Bridge and Center Street in Napanee, Ontario. Alleged OPP Constable Detective Blair Frederick Gerbler Hardy Kane. He is guilty of identity theft. He is an obsessed homosexual. He is a meth trafficker. He is guilty of rapes, financial thefts and frauds, welfare disability. He is guilty of bank frauds, forgeries, and multiple homicides. This is Jason Gempy Two-Step Van Alstyne. He is guilty of first-degree attempted murder. He is guilty of first-degree identity theft with the intent to commit homicide, identity fraud, disability, and insurance fraud. He is a crackhead. He is a fentanyl dealer. He sells laced fentanyl between Napanee, Ontario, and Kingston, Ontario. And he is successfully committing homicides and getting away with it. He is also guilty of a possible murder in 2021 as well in Napanee, Ontario. And I'm going to show just exactly how much changes I have physically been through over the course of 5 years from these pieces of shit. This is also another picture of the one known as Bill Woldridge as well, that lives behind a law office on Center and Bridge Street. He needs to be arrested. He needs to be criminally charged for murder and attempted murder. I have 100% proof where I've been trying for 6 years to get it done on this lowlife. And because of who he is and works with him for the police, they won't do it. This guy here, his name is Dale Hartwick. He is also my cousin, nephew to Harry Hartwick, the 85-year-old child groomer that likes to put duct tape on people's testicles. This guy here, he is guilty of torture crimes on me, brain injuring me, skull splitting me. He actually let it slip to me that he was involved with this against me back in 2021 at 45 Dundas Street. He accidentally let it slip he was involved in doing this to me. He's guilty of attempted murder with intent to commit for drop charges for a stabbing he committed against his wife or ex-wife's boyfriend. He may have a shaved goatee now. He is approximately 55 years old, and he is guilty of a possible homicide in Winnipeg, Manitoba in the 80s as well. He recently, a few years ago, had a broken neck through a car accident. This little bastard here, his name is Tyler Teabag Lake. He is guilty of torturing and killing my dog Runt with Raymond LeBlanc, March 24th, 2023. He is guilty of threats of stabbing. He is guilty of arson on a previous address, attempted arson. He is guilty of throwing blood on a previous address. He is guilty of being involved with my identity theft, brain injuring. He is Robert Kane, number one, fall down, meth fed, rat informant, low-life piece of shit, approximately 35 years old. He is guilty of attempted murder on me with intent to commit. Tyler Teabag Lake. And here's another picture of him. He is also guilty of faking a kidnapping with a guy posing as an OPP cop as well, and I can 100% prove it. This guy here is Tony Anthony Axel Rose Hearns. He lives on Bridge Street in Napanee, Ontario. He also goes by Axel Rose and Tony Montana. He believes and thinks that I am a wolf. He is guilty of skull splitting me. He is guilty of brain injuring me. He is a speedhead. He is a registered child molester. He is guilty of brain injuring me, guilty of torture crimes, attempted paralyzing, and sex assaults. He is guilty of blinding me. I have pictures where I look exactly like him, including the red hair, which I've never had, and the same cockeye. I am even blinded now because of this piece of shit in my right eye. I have no vision I have no vision in this eye anymore. So I only see from one eye now. And that's because of the fucking damage that's been done to my skull. Ever since I've been shot in August of 2019, I have a spot on the back of my head as well, and it's never healed since then. I have tubes. I have a tube in me that goes from my groin to my right nipple to my throat, which bulges out, which I'm going to show. There to the back of my neck, where I get air going through me. I get piss and I get shit going through my face and my head as well, expanding my fucking skull. Here's a picture of me. Big difference from this one. And I've not had any surgeries either. I had not had any association with any kind of hospital in any way, shape, or form in approximately 7 to 10 years prior to being shot by OPP. I had not had any association with any police prior to being shot. Reason because of me speaking of their human trafficking, sex slavery trafficking, and possible money laundering and homeless exploitation out of a place called The Mission at the time in Napanee. Here's a picture of me without my glasses, and this is more my original image. So if anybody thinks that anyone cannot be physically changed, I am proof. It can and has happened to me. And these are only a couple years old too. Here's the tube that comes up in the back of my neck now. My spine has also been fucked on me as well. And I am medically blacklisted, so no matter what happens to me, there is nothing I can do about it. My medical rights, my legal rights, my human rights have been taken from me because of one falsified file against me. Here's more proof of identity changes. This is why I show the tattoo on my hand. The only difference now is I have a tree with my name. This is what happens when you speak police crimes, and this is revenge on me through them for doing it. And putting illegal prisoner tracking into victims, falsely charging of victims to try to criminalize them. So remember this, anybody that's been arrested in Napanee, I would seriously fight it, but then again, they have no laws above them or under them. And they have criminal doctors who are more than willing to aid them in committing murders and keeping their victims from help without having to fucking prove anything. Once again, as I said, my medical rights, my legal rights, and my human rights have been taken from me. Might be kind of hard to see. I can't even really tell because, like I said, I have no vision in my one eye now. This is one of the changes that's been seriously done to me. This was me approximately 4 months ago. And I look nothing like that now. As a matter of fact, I have pictures that I took this morning upon waking up, and pictures from just before I started doing this broadcast, and they actually looked 100% different. I am pretty much in excruciating pain 24/7 because of what's going on with me, knowing I can't do a thing about it. And I am also the end of my bloodline too. So OPP are getting away with killing my mother, killing my dogs, and ending a bloodline by doing this with doctors' help and fucking junkies. When they want somebody dead, they assure it. And all it takes is a little bit of crystal meth and 3 fucking drugs in Napanee to get it done. There's that tube that comes up in my throat. It bulges out on me. That goes up to the back of my neck and up to the spot on the back of my head, which I've shown. And that certainly is not normal. Christwood here. I am in the process of identity theft, identity change, compliments of William
Waldridge, I am being changed to look like him. He is being hidden.
This
He
was
is being
done
protected.
in
He
2020.
can verify this. He can prove this. He can implicate.
Me even going to OPP and trying to get arrest and charges done.
This Crestwood here, I'm headed in towards OPP.
The differences.
To see about getting Spencer Miller's wife, William Waldridge, arrested and charged today. Stalking, injuring, torturing. Let's see what happens.
There's more pictures. And I'm being accused of doing this to myself when people disappear. I've been labeled a suicidal self-harmer and a drug addict, and I am neither of any of those. When people are being slave trafficked, going through this and being fucking covered up and murdered, they're being labeled these things, so when they're being killed or whatever, they disappear, they can use those fucking lies and narratives against their victims. This guy here is involved. He is guilty too of first-degree attempted murder. He is a well-known sex offender and a pimp. And then this was done first thing this morning. There. When people disappear, I would seriously check Lennox and Addington Ontario provincial police because they are very seriously dangerous. Once again, anything more happens to me because I cannot get help. XOPP chief or commander, whether any of these are still in Napanee, they are all involved and guilty of this against me. XOPP chief, year 2019, drove away Jeep Wrangler. Staff sergeants, years 2019, 2021. Shannon Cork, Robert Lucas, Dave Weiss, Constable Ward. Stacy, a mental health worker that was Napanee, now Kingston AMHS. Shelley Huffner. Spencer Mills 14716. He shows up at your door. Expect people to start disappearing and being killed. Robert Kane 7224. Dr. Tatiana Vukadinovic, Lennox and Addington County General Hospital, and girlfriend to Stacy, and file falsifier against me to prevent me help. Guilty of first-degree attempted murder with intent to commit and cover up. Bill Waldridge, the one with many alias names behind Cowell Law Office on Bridge and Center Street in Napanee, approximately 70 years old, that murdered my mother as well and still has to answer for it. Harry Hartwick, Dale Hartwick, Robert Berry, Chris Brandt, Sean McKay. Chris Brandt is involved with this. His brother is a reserve cop as well. Guilty of torture crimes against me, guilty of slander, guilty of using an energy weapon against me approximately 2 weeks ago around 10 after 12 a.m. It happened. Guilty of being involved with torture crimes against me as well. Him and his brother. The lies, the time buying, the cover ups, the arrest refusals, false arrests, blaming me for everything that's been taking place with me, no matter how much I've been able to show and prove. I've not been able to do anything. Medical, legal, human rights have been taken from me. I want everybody to know because of this, damage is done, time has been bought, and I know I'm starting to sound like a broken record because I am completely and totally fucking numb. You can actually see where my skull has been split and the differences in it. And like I said, my head and my face blows up like a balloon from whatever that is in the back of my head. And this is how this is being done to me. And I have piss and shit going through me. It's decaying my body. When I eat, my food goes to the right side of my body, not my stomach as well. So you've done your job. Congratulations, Ontario Provincial Police. This is Saturday, March 15th. I live just outside of Desirano. Anything more happens to me, these cops and their accomplices that I've showed need to be arrested and charged. Luckily, I don't have $22,000.